If you were the devil, what would be your great deception? How would you try to destroy the world? I thought about this once, and I thought about, it came to my mind that what Jesus said about the rich, right? In Matthew 19, after he had that encounter with the rich young ruler, and verses like 17 through 25, he mentions that it's harder for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So if Satan were wise, and he's wiser than we are, certainly, he's lived a lot longer, and with the ancient is wisdom, so he's learned a lot. He would enrich us. He would make us very rich. And in our wealth, we would love our stuff more than our Savior, just as that rich young ruler did. By the way, the Laodicean church, which is the final church, the last church, Revelation 3:14 through 21, they are described as rich and increased with goods. And there may be absolutely a spiritual application to that. But what's fascinating also is that Jesus said that as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man, right? Before the second coming of Christ. So what were those days like? Jesus described them. He said they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage. They were eating and drinking? That doesn't sound like famine. That sounds like wealth. So there will be wealth, there will be eating and drinking up until the second coming of Christ. There will be this festivity. There will be this abundance. By the way, he also said, as it was in the days of Lot, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. What were the days of Lot like? He lived in Sodom. And Sodom is described in Ezekiel. Fascinating. Ezekiel 16. As the sin of Sodom being idleness and abundance of bread. Idleness and abundance of bread. And so what I see happening is Satan enriching the world prior to the second coming of Christ. And by our wealth, devastating our genuine childlike spirituality and leading us to a form of godliness, but lacking the power thereof, and to an extreme covetousness, an extreme, we all will become the rich young ruler. We all. Of course, some nations will remain poor. Daniel chapter 2, we see the image, right? The feet, stone and clay, and then the rock representing the second coming of Christ comes and destroys it, right? But those feet are stone and clay. Some are powerful and some are weak. Some nations are strong, some nations are weak. Some nations are rich, some nations are poor. And so I think Satan is smart, and he's going to make us rich, and we need to be very careful not to separate our hearts from Christ.